Welcome to the In Love with PMDD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and I help you stop the monthly PMDD breakups. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It is in approximately 1 in 5 women, and it makes you want to break up with your partner approximately 1 to 2 weeks before your period every single month. So as someone who has suffered with PMDD for over 18 years, I dedicated my doctorate practice to helping partners navigate those monthly PMDD breakups with everything from attachment styles, triggers, sensitivity to noise, sensitivity to touch, all of the things that you really struggle with when you're in PMDD. And I also dedicated my dissertation to a phenomenological study of the relationship experiences of partners of individuals who suffer with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So I'm not just here to help the sufferer, the one who is suffering with PMDD. I am here for the partners as well. So if you need those private sessions, make sure you go to inlovewithpmdd.com and get those tools. So let's get into this week's PMDD trauma transformational tools that is going to help you stop the monthly breakups and stop the suffering and stress in your PMDD relationship. Let's get into it. Today, I want to talk to you about how important it is to manage your moods when you're in PMDD and how it really impacts your PMDD relationship. And I know you're already thinking, Dr. Rose, I can't manage my mood. I have these mood swings. It's one of the symptoms of PMDD. And every single month I go into PMDD. And when my mood shifts, it impacts my relationship. It impacts my partner. And I want to talk to you about this because I have mastered this with my private clients. And the biggest way I've been able to do that is I remember when I used to have the mood swings, still have the mood swings, how much it impacted my partner. Like I really had to think about those moments when internally my mood had shifted because I was suffering in PMDD and really looking at my partner and seeing them suffer because my mood has shifted, even when I hadn't said anything to them, I hadn't done anything to them. But intrinsically, when you are in a PMDD relationship, when you're in an intimate relationship, intimacy into me, you are connected. So when your mood shifts, your partner can feel it. When your partner mood shifts, you can feel it. And I know this has happened so many times. This can even happen via text message where you're texting a person, your partner, and you say something or you feel triggered by something that they did or didn't do via text message, and then you text them back and you're kind of just like, okay. Like a lot of this used to happen for me with the emojis, with any relationship or dating relationship or partners I've ever had. I'm very much the emoji type person, meaning I use emojis all the time. And the emojis that I use are so, loving. They're so like the heart eyes and the hearts and the kissy hearts and the face that just has all the hearts around it. Like I'm a heart person. If you follow me on Instagram where I vlog my journey every single day, I'm always using the hearts when I'm replying to your comments. Whether it's Instagram or TikTok, I'm always giving you the hearts because I love you. And I want you to really feel that, because I know for me, when I use the emojis, I really feel like the love. So when I was triggered, we would be texting like with no emojis. And for me, I can feel the lack of love when there's no emojis. Like it's a thing for me. And I know for some people it may not be, but for me, I can feel via text message when, someone I'm dating or my partner is off, when they're just kind of monotone. Because one of the things that I did on my journey of discovery after the breakup, and I really, went into falling back in love with myself, falling back in love with the parts of me that have been stifled, damaged, pushed down by myself, right? I'm not blaming my ex-partner. I'm not blaming anyone because I control me. And I noticed as I've been going through this journey, there's just been some things that I lost. Like I used to dance all the time, like every single day. Like that was my thing. It made me feel free. It got me out of my head. And I noticed as time was going on this past year, I had stopped doing that. So I'm really just getting back to the basics, back to the core of who I am. And so I did this exercise, and I do this a lot of times with my private clients who are in a similar place of just trying to find themselves in their relationship again, where they feel like they just lost themselves. They kind of get hopeless and look back and be like, I used to be so happy, and I used to be so free, and I used to be so this. And now I'm like this. Now I'm depressed. Now I have anxiety all the time. Now I feel helpless about this relationship. Now I feel just horrible, and it feels heavy. And so to get you out of that heaviness, I said, describe yourself in 3 words. Describe yourself in 3 words. And when I immediately did that for me, I said adventurous, passionate, and loving. That is my home base. I am adventurous. I always tell you I'm an Enneagram 7. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a free spirit. I love to travel. I love to, I'm an extrovert. And I remember being in my past relationship and talking to myself like, I'm an introvert. I just don't like. I was not an introvert. I was avoiding a lot of the suffering that I was going through in my past relationship, and it made me become an introvert. But that's not the core of who I am, because when I got back to me, I'm an extrovert. I love connecting with people. I love serving people. I love traveling. I love all of these things. And so as I really got back to the core of who I am, I said, okay, adventurous, yes, passionate. What I mean by passionate, it's not just like a sexual thing. I know you're like, okay, Dr. Rose, but what I mean by that is I'm passionate about anything that I do. I go all in. And I remember when I was working with my dating mentor that I hired, who I'm going to have come on the podcast, he was like, I was just like, maybe I'm just too much. Like, maybe, I just don't need to be all in, because he's kind of like, you can't be all in with dating. Like, these people haven't earned your loyalty, but you're just, you're meeting them, and you're like completely loyal. You're completely dedicated. You're completely giving them your energy, your time, your affection, your love, like all of these things. And they have not earned it yet. So he was like, raise your standards, and I was just like, oh, like it was so hard for me, because it's hard for me to pull back, because I meet someone, and, if I find out we're compatible, or I like spending time with them, I like to give them my energy, give them my time. I like, it's hard for me to half do anything. Like, even with serving my clients, I am completely dedicated. I'm completely all in. If you're my private client, you can message me, and if you're going through something, I always say in between sessions, if you're going through something, like, let me know. I got you, because I know what it feels like to be going through something in your PMDD relationship. It's the middle of the night, it's this time, and you don't know what to do. You don't want to say and do the wrong thing. You don't want to do damage to your relationship. So when you're my private client, when I serve you, I go all in. Like, with my morning routine, with, serving myself or pouring into myself, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all in. Raising my daughter, homeschooling her, all in. With my dog, like, everything I do, I'm such a passionate person, and I'm all in. And that's just part of who I am. And so I remember the dating coach was saying, no, 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 stay authentic to who you are. Who you are is beautiful. That's a beautiful quality to have. And someone is going to be so lucky to be with someone like you who's all in. You just have to find someone who can reciprocate that same energy, who is deserving of that same energy. And it's not going to take that for granted. So don't change, who you are, because you've been with people that haven't fully appreciated and valued it. Um, I remember this quote, and I reposted it one time, and it says, "Don't dim your light just because it's blinding other people." And I have to remind myself of that. And so when I said, okay, so I'm adventurous, I'm passionate, and I'm loving. By loving, that's one of my tools that I use. If you're my private client, I always say, lean in and be loving. There's so much power in being loving towards your PMDD partner. There's so much power in it. And what I mean by that is it can spark that connection again. If you just lean in and you're loving, and that can look differently for everyone, it depends on what your love languages is, what you love to give. I'm a very affectionate person. I love to show love with physical affection. I love to show love with words. I love to show love with gifts. I can actually, and I love quality time. I can actually give love in all of the 5 love languages. That's probably part of my all-in mentality, because I love to make someone feel loved, and I love to feel loved in return. but I love the feeling of leaning in and being loving and showing love and just seeing the impact of that. I've seen people who are so angry, so bitter, so resentful, so just nasty and all of these things. And you just, you would think, like, I just want to avoid that. I want to get away from that energy. But I've seen them, the partner, like lean in and be loving and literally melt all of that nastiness, that negativity, that bitterness, that resentment, that unforgiveness, that I always say are the killers of PMDD relationships. I've seen it literally fall off because at the core of that, they're hurting. At the core of that, there's fear. Nobody wants to be nasty. Nobody feels good about being nasty. And so it's just one of those situations where I realized like me being loving is a gift. It really is like a gift that I have that I can provide to people that I'm dating, to partners. And I have to manage my moods in order to be the core of who I am. When I'm triggered, right? These are things that can shift me out of that mood. So when you're thinking about these mood swings that we have in PMDD, you get triggered and then all of a sudden you're not the three things. So I just really want you to stop and think about, what are your three things? You can pause this if you need to, because I really want to work through this like you're my private client, giving you a little free mini session. What are the three things that if someone had to describe you, and they would be like, you are these things. Oh, this person is these three things. And it's literally the three things that pop in your head. Don't overthink it. Like, do not overthink it. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, what's the thing? No, no, no. Don't overthink it. The first three qualities that come to your head, it's kind of like if you see those word searches and it's like, what are the three words that you find first? Like, those are your three words. That's the core of who you are. Not who you're trying to be, not who you think you should be, just who you are. And it could be like you think you're really smart, you think you're really intelligent. I like I said before, I have some brilliant private clients that have PMDD, and the partners can do this exercise as well. When you are out of alignment with your three things, that's when you know your mood has shifted. Like, that's how you know you can catch yourself, call yourself out. That's the first podcast episode that I've ever done. If you scroll back to like hundreds of episodes, I think I'm on like 200. I don't know. I need to count. I need to number these episodes so that I can have you refer to them, because I'll try to tell people that DM me. I'm like, I did a podcast on that, and they have to like go back. And I know some of you, you're amazing. You're literally going back and listening to like my past episodes, and each episode has tools. So I'm so glad that you always have this resource to just go back to. But when you notice that your mood has shifted in PMDD, when you're a partner and you notice that your mood has shifted in PMDD, because your partner is in PMDD, it is because you're out of alignment with your three things. And this is how it can really impact your PMDD relationship. You are absolutely going to have miscommunication with your partner with these rapid mood swings. You're going to misinterpret the things that they're saying. You're going to take the things that they're saying personally. You're going to take it as a personal attack. You're going to begin to think that your partner is an enemy because you're now interpreting their words through the lens of a negative mood. So like if I get triggered, what was my old thing? Offended. And by old, I mean a couple of months ago. So like we're all a work in progress. But when I used to get offended, my mood would immediately shift. And then all of a sudden, the person I'm dating could say one little thing. And I was just like, okay. They'll be like, have a great day. I'll be like, you too. My mood shifted. And instead of them feeling like they wanted to lean in and be loving and be positive and all these things, they kind of like via text message, they're just like, okay. Like, you know how you have the okay that's literally just the two, the O and the K? Like, that's how, if you look through your text messages, you'll see like when you're feeling loving with your partner and when you're just triggered. So you're going to have these miscommunications. You're going to start to feel hurt. You're going to start to feel rejected, obviously, because now you're not feeling the love anymore. And it's going to make communication harder with you and your partner. And the next thing is it's going to create emotional distance. So one of the ways that you can really get out of alignment with your partner. When you know how I always say when you're not seeing eye to eye, that's what I mean. There's emotional distance there. You're not connected emotionally. When you're not connected emotionally, you're in a very vulnerable state because that means your partner can say things to you that are mean. You can say things to your partner that are mean and you don't have any remorse. You don't feel bad about it because you're not emotionally connected to them. When you are emotionally connected to your partner, you will not say hurtful things to them because it will hurt you to hurt them. If you're in a place where you can hurt your PMDD partner with your words, it's because you're not emotionally connected. And at the root of that is that you're not getting your emotional needs met. There's something that you're needing, whether it's love, attention, affection, validation. You're not getting it from your partner. Therefore, you can be mean and nasty to them. I always say to you, if you are meeting your partner's needs, if your partner feels loved, if your partner feels validated, if your partner feels supported, if they feel secure, they're not going to be able to say nasty things to you. So if they're saying nasty things to you that are really hurting your feelings, there's an unmet need there. And we need to get to the root of that. And if you're my private client, you know, we go deep on what is it that you're really needing. And this is for you that has PMDD and for your partner. What is it that you're really needing? And a big part of that is affection. Affection. When you stop being intimate, and by intimate, I don't just mean sex. I don't not mean sex because sex is amazing. Like, I don't, if you stopped having sex with your partner, this is a sign. It's a sign that there's emotional distance between you and your partner. Remember, your partner is the only one that you can have this level of intimacy with. This is the differentiation between a friend and a partner. You don't kiss a friend that I know of. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's a situationship. I don't know. If it's a dating thing, don't ask me. But anyway, you don't kiss a friend passionately, but you will with your partner. You don't hold, your friend's hand and feel those tingles. Yeah, you can hold your friend's hand. Like, I hold my girlfriend's hand all the time and we're walking down the street and I love that. But there's a level of intimacy that I feel when I'm dating someone and we hold hands, like holding hands in the car. Oh my gosh, like I melt. Holding hands, walking on a date. I had a date the other day, like walking on the beach, holding hands, having them put their arms around you, having them stand behind you, and just you're looking at this amazing view and you're like leaning into them and you're feeling, it's amazing. It is amazing. And so when your mood shifts, the partner doesn't feel like they can do those things. So that's why the intimacy doesn't happen because they don't feel like the door is open for that. They don't feel like the door is open for them to lean in and be loving because you have this wall up. And so it's almost like this building of resentment. That's the next way it can affect your PMDD relationship. When your mood shifts, then your partner feels like they're, drum roll please, walking on eggshells. I have something coming out that's really going to help partners that is specifically designed to help them stop feeling like they have to walk on eggshells. And I've been working on this for a while. It's going to get released soon, but this is because I promise you, when I was doing my dissertation, I interviewed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of PMDD partners, and they all said the same thing. For Dr. Rose, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. The root of that is there's this resentment. Over time, they can feel like they can't express themselves without you being triggered, without your mood shifting. So they feel like I have to be careful what I say. I have to be careful what I do. I can't say what I really want to say. Then they feel like they can't be who they are. And that's where the resentment comes in. And then that's when they have these arguments. You're having these fights and arguments because of the mood swings of the irritability. It's like nothing I do is good enough. Nothing I do is good enough for you. And then they're feeling like you're the enemy. Both of you are feeling like each other is the enemy in your PMDD relationship. So you can't get past the fight, or you feel like you get past one fight and then you're fighting again. You get past another fight and you're fighting again. And it drains your emotional energy. It is draining. You get burnout because you're tired of fighting. You're tired of arguing. You're tired of not being on the same page. And this is what leads to the PMDD monthly breakups. So I'm going to give you some tools of what you can do to really shift your energy, because as soon as one of you shifts your energy, one of you shifts your mood, then it can change the whole vibe of the relationship. If you follow me on I think it's Facebook, my Dr. Rose page. Um, I'm all about good vibes only. Do I say good vibes only because I'm always feeling good? Absolutely not. I create the energy that I want to feel even when I'm feeling crappy, almost cursed, even when I'm feeling crappy, I want to feel the good vibes. So I go do the things. And a lot of times when I'm putting up posts and I'm like good vibes only, I'm either dancing or I'm listening to music. I'm doing something that is shifting my mood back into the core of Dr. Rose, adventurous, passionate, and loving. That is my moral compass. If I know that I'm not feeling adventurous, passionate, and loving, I limit my communication with anyone else because I don't want anyone to feel anything outside of that energy because that's the core of who I am. If I'm feeling bitter, resentful, and unforgiving, I'm not going to put that energy on anyone else. I will get myself together. And a lot of times I'll do that in between client sessions if I'm taking on things and because sometimes it's heavy. The things that I take on in private sessions, it's heavy and I have to take a walk and get my energy back. And I always ask myself, am I feeling adventurous, passionate, and loving? Yes. Then I can go interact with other people. No. Then I need to go manage my moods and my emotions. And that's a personal responsibility that I have. And it's a personal responsibility that you have. And one of the biggest things that I've done is I have to take I notice I have really shallow breathing. And I'm not one of those people that are just going to like count to 10 and all those things. I mean, I know that's a thing, but I have to like practice taking a walk and breathing deeply. And what this does is it reduces the stress. It helps you reset your nervous system. And I don't mean that you have to hold the breath, breathe however you want to breathe, just breathe deep. That's what I will say. Cause I notice I have really shallow breathing and I feel it's almost like I'm panting. And it makes my cortisol levels, like I'll literally start like getting fidgety and shaky. So I'll just go outside. I don't care what the weather's like, by the way. I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's high. And I'll just like, and I'll listen to music while I'm doing it. Music therapy is always good for me. Um, Physical touch is one that really, really helps with resetting the mood because it releases that oxytocin, that love hormone. If you're a private client and you're on sessions with me, and I'll say, hold their hand, put your arm around them. And if you're in the pride and the ego and you're like, I don't want them to touch me, I don't want, okay, well, you're forcing yourself to stay in a negative mood. If you're resisting your partner touching you, you're forcing yourself to stay in that negative place. And there's a lot of ego and pride in that. And you need to let that go because you're causing yourself to suffer. You really want the love, affection, attention from your partner, but you're not allowing them to give it to you because you're in such a mood. And so, and if that's the case, then just take responsibility for that. Call yourself out and say, I'm deciding to be in a nasty mood. Say it. I'm deciding to be in a nasty mood. Call yourself out. If you want to be in a nasty mood, if you want to be in a depressed mood, if you want to do it. But don't blame your partner if they're trying to lean in and you're just like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want that right now. Okay, well then you're the problem. Like, remember how I always say, like Taylor Swift, I'm the problem, it's me. If I know that I just want to be in a mood and I want to put my phone on do not disturb and watch Netflix, I'll call myself out. That's just what I feel like doing. And until I feel like snapping out of it, I won't. But I'm taking responsibility. I'm not putting that on the other person and saying it's because of them. It's absolutely because of me. And when I decide I want to come out of that cocoon and be loving again, loving, adventurous, passionate, then I go do it. Engage in laughter therapy. Again, go look at something funny. Laughter is really one of those things that can release endorphins as well. It can reduce stress. I always say when partners are about to go on date night and then they don't go on date night because of a fight or argument they have, and I'll have sessions with them right before, and I'm like, hey, can you just go on date night and see how it is? They literally email me and say that they've had an amazing time, they've laughed, they've joked, and it's sometimes the things that you go through in your PMDD relationship is really heavy, really, really heavy. And you really need to reset yourself by allowing yourself to have some fun, allowing yourself to do something that's not so heavy. Another thing you can do is, look at positive like pictures that you've had with your partner. I do that a lot of times where I have them do a lot of visualization, like go look at some videos or some things that you've done where you've had fun together. Remind yourself of why you're with that person. No, this is not a person that's here to cause you to suffer. This is a person that you love and adore. You've not been able to focus on that so long because of the fighting and the arguing. You need to find yourself back to your partner, just like you need to find yourself back to yourself. Think about your 3 words and then ask every single day. You have to work literally, and I'm sorry to tell you this for those of you that think it's going to come easy, I have to work to be those three things, because when your mood shifts, your partner mood shifts. So if you always focus on keeping yourself within the realms of those three things that are the core of who you are, and your partner does the same thing, then those mood swings are going to have less of an impact on your PMDD relationship, and it's going to be less damaging. When your mood shifts back into being the core of who you are, passionate, adventurous, loving, like my three things, then the person can feel that. I don't even have to have a conversation with them about anything. I can just shift back into that mood and they shift into the core of who they are. And then the mood swings don't have the power over the relationship. Take your power back and stay to the core of who you are in your PMDD relationship. If this is something that you know that you need help with, you're like, Dr. Rose, I want to know my three words. I want you to customize these tools for me. I really want you to help me get to the core of my three words and give me practices that help me stay in alignment with those things so that my mood shifts don't keep making my partner feel like they have to walk on eggshells. Go to my website, inlovewithpmdd.com, get those PMDD relationship reset sessions, right? There's two ways to work with me. You can get the single session, which is the PMDD relationship reset, or you can get the pyramid session, which is one session with you, one session with your partner, and then one session together where I give you the literal tools and the scripts and the mantras of what you can do to reset your PMDD relationship. So until next time, we got this. I love you. I hope this PMDD episode helped you and your partner in your struggles within your relationship. And if this is something that you know that you need help with and you need further support, individualized support, make sure you're going to inlovewithpmdd.com and you're getting those private sessions to really work through what you're going through in your relationship, specifically in regards to PMDD. And also, I want you to leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. What this does is it helps other PMDD sufferers and partners find this show that can help them get these free PMDD relationship tools. I remember what it felt like to not know that there were tools out there specifically for PMDD relationships. So I want to make sure that you are sharing these tools with others, share them on your social media, share them with people that you know that are also struggling in their PMDD relationships. Until next episode, this is Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist. One more thing, I almost forgot. I now have the Fresh Start PMDD Partners Workbook. What this workbook can do is if you've had past traumatic experiences with your partner, past fights, past arguments, and they keep coming up every single month in PMDD, I created a Fresh Start Workbook so that you can deal with all of the traumatic experiences that have happened in the past in PMDD rage and all of these things so you can stop going through the same cycle again and again and again. So get that workbook. It comes with a video episode of the actual podcast that I recorded on getting a fresh start in your PMDD relationship. So you're not continuing the same cycle again and again and again. So make sure that you get that workbook. And if you need those individualized counseling sessions, you know where to go, inlovewithpmdd.com. Until next time, we got this. Love you.